Hi guys. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about my trip to Walt Disney World recently. And not only am I going to talk about that, I'm going to talk about what my thoughts are on what the mask policy and just how Disney did during the pandemic. Now, I was there July 11th through 18th. This was the third time we had to reschedule it, my mom and I, because it was for my graduation, hence the Mickey ears. And like I said, we had to reschedule. And so this was the third time. Third time's the charm. And so I think July 11th through 18th is when we stayed. And we stayed at the cabins at Fort Wilderness. This was my first time staying on property. I've only had like a week-long trip one other time at Disney, but we didn't stay on property. It was when I was 6. So it had been a long time. But yeah, that's why I'm wearing these ears, because it was a graduation trip. So, like I said, it was my first time staying on property. And now I'm going to talk about like what the resort was like. So I really liked Fort Wilderness. The cabins, especially, they're beautiful. It's really nice if you don't want to spend... My mom and I had no choice. We had originally going to stay at Pop Century, then we changed to Caribbean Beach, and then that wasn't going to be open when we were going to be there. So Disney changed us to Fort Wilderness. And so like I said, we had no choice. But at first, my mom wasn't too excited. I was kind of excited. And but we really like them. They're great, especially if you don't want to spend a whole bunch of money on buying food in the parks every day. It's a really great way not to have to do that. And you have not a full kitchen. You actually have, there's like a little kitchenette, really. It has a full refrigerator, but it's only like 2 burners on a stove, no oven. Well, technically, the microwave is also a convection oven. And they have a full dishwasher, which is nice. And they have a queen-size bed and a bunk bed, so 2 beds there. And then a sofa bed or a pull-out couch. So you can potentially fit 6 people in there. So, but yeah, it was just me and my mom. It was really nice. The only drawback to it is that it's really, really big. I will say, if you're going to stay at the cabins at Fort Wilderness or the campgrounds at Fort Wilderness, I think that's what it's called for those, either bring your own car or bring your own golf cart or rent a golf cart there. You can actually rent it up to a year ahead of time. I think it was $67 to rent it per night. And so that wasn't that bad. Well, that wasn't cheap. But my dad actually rented one for my mom and I, which was a godsend, because it would have taken us forever to get everywhere around there. And so, it was, the golf cart was a godsend. But still, the first day, we got so confused. We were actually supposed to go to Magic Kingdom the Saturday we got there. We didn't, because we got so confused and so turned around. I will say the map they have is, at least for my mom and I, it was not that great. It wasn't very clear. Now, for how you get to the parks, you, for Animal Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios, you can take a bus like any other of the resorts. But if you are wanting to go to Magic Kingdom, you have to take the boat or the water taxi to it. That's the only way you can get there unless you drive. Well, there was like a different way. Like if you went from here to here, you could do it, but it's easier just to take the boat. So yeah. It was very confusing the first day. And, but Magical Express was great because it got our stuff to our cabin, though we did have to take ours back to, our luggage. It got our luggage to our cabin, but we did have to take our luggage to the Magical Express when we got there. And it wasn't the Magical Express buses. But anyways, so yeah, like I said, it's a great property. It's just a little confusing if it's your first time going there, it might be a little confusing. But it was a beautiful resort. My mom and I actually never got to go to the pools because with no park hopper pass and the shortened hours, there really wasn't much time to do it. So, yeah, like I said, we didn't go to Magic Kingdom the first day we were there. Blech. But, let me see. Okay, and so now I'm going to talk about the food, where we ate and everything. Our first night we were there, we actually went to Disney Springs and ate at Raglan Road. If you've never been to Raglan Road, it is amazing. My mom and I both had the fish and chips. They were delicious. But it was a huge piece of fish. That was just so delicious. And so like I said, we went there. And then on Sunday, we went to Animal Kingdom. We didn't stay there all day because my mom she suffered from heat exhaustion, and so we had to go to the emergency room, which wasn't what we had planned on doing. But I'm not going to talk about all that. Just know that if you do have to go to the emergency room while you're on Disney at the parks, they will pay for you to get back to your resort. They will give the taxi company a voucher. But yeah, I'm not going to say anything more about that. But when we were at Animal Kingdom, before all that stuff happened, we ate at Satuli Canteen. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's in Pandora. It was pretty good. I mean, I didn't like it as much as my mom did. She loved it, but it was a really neat little place. And actually, no, I don't have the cup in here, but I got one of the souvenir cups from there, and that was pretty cool. But yeah, they were really, really nice there. Yeah, I will say another thing about, if you have an accident or like you get sick or something like my mom did, Disney is wonderful. They will make sure you are okay. Everything. And, my favorite ride at Animal Kingdom was Flight of Passage. I don't really like Avatar. I watched it a couple of times, but I don't like it too much. But the ride, even if you don't like Avatar, you need to ride Flight of Passage. It is awesome. It's a little bit like Soarin' in how it's almost like you're watching something on an IMAX screen. But anyways, yeah, so like I said, we had Satuli Canteen that night, or that after lunch, and then when we got back to the resort after everything at the Orlando hospital, we went to P&J's for Southern takeout for supper. It was not that great. The fried chicken was good. We had the fried chicken and ribs, but the ribs weren't that great. I guess it's because we're used to not having a dry rub. The mac and cheese was pretty good, but so it was an okay meal. And then we went back there Monday morning for breakfast. We got, or was it that morning? Yeah, it was that morning that we went for breakfast because we were going to Magic Kingdom that day. And we got their biscuits and gravy. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, as a Southerner, I love biscuits and gravy. So, yeah, it was pretty good. And then that evening, can't even remember what we did for lunch, we went to Pinocchio's Village House. Sorry. Yeah, oh my gosh, that was delicious. They have flatbread pizzas. It was delicious. It was so good. We went there both days. We went to Magic Kingdom. That's how good and delicious the food was. Yeah, I had the pepperoni flatbread the first day. Yeah, it's right beside It's a Small Roll. But yeah, it was delicious. And so, and that night we went back to Magic Kingdom. We went back to our room for a little while, and then we went back to Magic Kingdom to eat at Liberty Tree Tavern. I cannot recommend it. Is so good. It's delicious. They had a good roast beef. Everything was delicious. Well, I didn't really like the salad too much, but everything else was delicious. It was basically Thanksgiving dinner is what you get. So yeah, that was what we had that night. And then Tuesday, we went back to Magic Kingdom again. And we had, like I said, we had Pinocchio's Village House for lunch again. And then I'm trying to think what we did for supper. I can't remember because we didn't have a reservation or anything. I think that was the day we stayed in the cabin. No. That was not that one. Gosh, I can't think of it. But if I think of it, I'll add it in at the end of the video. I'll tack it on at the end of the video. No, I think we had leftovers. Did we have leftovers that night? I can't remember. I don't know what we had for supper. We didn't have any reservations that day. I can't even remember what we went to. Well, it doesn't matter. And then on Wednesday we went to Hollywood Studios. It was packed there. And oh yeah, we went to 50's Primetime for lunch that day. I've been there before, and I thought their chicken pot pie wasn't that great, but their roast beef is delicious. I could eat that again and again and again. And then we stayed home. We stayed in the cabin that night. We were going to go back, but then it started thundering, and they had a really bad rainstorm that day, more than your typical Florida afternoon summer rainstorm or thunderstorm. So we stayed in the cabins. We actually went to the Meadows Trading Post, which is like the biggest gift shop / grocery store there. They actually have they have a place that has a lot of like grocery stores. Well, not a lot, but some grocery store items. And so we got 2 little DiGiorno single individual pizzas, and we cooked them in our microwave / convection oven at the cabin, and we just stayed in for the night. Then on Thursday, we went to Epcot, and trying to think, what did we have for lunch? So most of the time we went back to the hotel, back to our cabin after half day. Oh, I know what it was on Tuesday. Yeah, well, we went to Beaches and Cream, and it was delicious too. I cannot remember what I had. I couldn't think of it, but yeah, Beaches and Cream. But anyways, on Thursday when we were at Epcot, that was our only day there. Yeah, so Thursday was the only day we had at Epcot. I cannot remember for the life of me what we did for lunch. Oh, we went to the Sunshine Seasons in the Land Pavilion, and it was okay. It was just your typical burger, so it wasn't like wonderful. But that night at Epcot, we went to Le Cellier, and I cannot recommend that enough. Oh my gosh, those were the best steaks I've ever had. They were delicious. Didn't need anything to go with it. The sides, were okay. But the steaks made it worth it to pay the price. Because it's on the higher end. I mean, if we had been able to be on the dining plan like we were originally planned, it's a 2-credit place. But it wasn't. But still, it's worth every penny you pay. You pay over $100 just for 2 people. So, yeah. But it was definitely worth it. And then, finally, on Friday, we had no reservations, but we went to Hollywood Studios, and I'm trying to remember where we went to eat. Oh, we went to Pizza Rizzo, and that was, it was nothing to write home about. And then I think we had leftovers that night for supper. Yeah, that was it. So yeah, that's what we ate. And so definitely the best was Le Cellier. And I can't really decide what's the worst. It was either Pizza Rizzo or P&J Southern Takeout. Might try it again if the next time I get to go, but I don't know. Okay, so now I'm going for the second part of this, for the second half of this video. I'm going to talk about how things were with all the new guidelines during the COVID pandemic. Now, at first I thought, okay, it's going to be, before we went, I thought it might be a little tough to wear the masks, but I knew I would do it anyways. And I had taken my mask that I had gotten off of Etsy that showed my school and everything. I wore it the first 2 days, and that was it. It was just getting soaked because of all the heat and humidity. So, if you're the type of person who gets, who is really hot-natured, I'm one of those people. I'm not really, really hot-natured, but I am somewhat. Well, my mom might say I really am. Anyways, I would wear one of the masks you can buy at the store, like what you see in doctor's offices and that kind of stuff. I would recommend that because that's what my mom and I both use, because even her mask, actually she's not hot natured, but even her mask got a little too warm. Now, if you can deal with warm temperatures, there were a lot of people wearing the Disney masks. Like this one. This is the one my mom wore, actually. I had mine over there. But these are the ones we bought, I mean. But those are very thick too, and so we didn't wear those. But yeah, like I said, I would wear the thinner masks because they're not as hot. Yes, you'll still get sweaty and stuff, but it's not as bad. And everybody wore a mask. There were just there were a few times where people wouldn't have it over their nose, but typically they'd put it right back. And we went before they said you couldn't be walking and drinking water and have your mask off or eat. We were there when you could still do that, but we didn't really do that. But, oh yeah, one thing that they, had, with that I like, my mom and I actually liked, was what they called relaxation stations. And that they're throughout the parks, they're on the maps now. And like one of them in Epcot was Akershus, I think that's how it's pronounced. It was a relaxation station. It was not open as a restaurant. It was just there for you to sit about 30 minutes, take your mask off, and just drink water, whatever you need. And so they had those all around each of the parks. We didn't find Animal Kingdoms because we weren't there long enough to really get to use it. But we went to one at Epcot, one at Magic Kingdom, and one at Hollywood Studios. And that was in Star Wars Launch Bay. So it wasn't a restaurant, but it was a place where you could get, that they weren't doing anything right now. So you could go in there and relax, take off your masks, sit, drink, do whatever you want. So, And the social distancing, or physical distancing, that's what I like better than social distancing. It was really good too. They had markers. Some groups, my mom and I both kind of got frustrated. They would take up 2 of them, so you had to wait back farther than you're supposed to. But sometimes they seemed like they were spaced farther, and we were like, well, at first we were like, why are they spaced, the markers spaced so much farther out than in other places? Well, we realized it was the places where they had the where they didn't have the like partitions, dividers, whatever you want to call them, the shields, whatever you want to call them. Where they didn't have those, they would space people farther out. But when they had like the dividers with the plexiglass and everything, then they were spaced out about 6 feet apart. So that wasn't too bad, and people typically followed it. Yeah, and the only time I saw people, and kids were doing great with it too. I only heard, I think, 2 kids that wanted to take their mask off, and their mom said, no, you can't. And so they did really well with that. Okay, and what else was I going to talk about? Oh, the wait times. The wait times weren't that bad. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and yeah, that was the one we had out in Splash Mountain, were the 2 longest ones. Splash Mountain because they're getting ready to retheme it to Princess and the Frog, and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway because it's still brand new, or it's pretty new. It was only open, I don't think it was even open a full month before they closed down. So yeah, that's what it was like. And my mom and I felt completely safe. I actually told my mom, I'm like, I felt safer at Disney than I did in the airports, even though the airports were pretty good too. But I felt way safer at Disney than I do here in North Carolina where I live. So yeah, that's what I want to talk about, what I thought about. Sorry, it was kind of just like, seemed like it was kind of everywhere. But I did want to show you a couple of things. Oh, and now before I finish my video, I wanted to talk about the 2 things that were the most essential for me during the trip. Well, my mom thought it was too. It's an Arctic water bottle. It's RTIC, Arctic, like that. And this water bottle keeps things cold for, I think it said 24 hours. We would drink the water for that, but water will stay so cold. The whole time I was drinking a bottle of water, it was as cold as if I had just put it in there. So Arctic water bottles, one really good recommendation, or any like really good brand that'll keep it cold. I recommend just a regular bottle, not like a tumbler. That'd be hard to carry around in Disney anyways. But the other thing that really, really helped me the most, since I'm so hot-natured, is a cooling towel. It was perfect. It kept me cool the whole time. We'd have to re-wet it every every 3 or 4 hours, but it still stayed cool, and it kept me from sweating as much. I still sweated a lot, but I didn't sweat as much. So, hold on, I gotta see. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So I wanted to show you a couple of things that I got. Let me stand up, show you my shirt. I got this shirt from Hollywood Studios, which I really like. And there's another one I have that I've been wearing as pajama top that says Disney State of Mind. And then there's one from Fort Wilderness, which I got. But I love collecting pins. Someday maybe I'll show you all of my pins I've got, which they're not a lot. Not a lot as some people. But I'll show you my 2 favorite ones from this time. This one with Stitch on there, which I think is really, really cute. And then this one, I don't know if you can read it. Yes, inverted. It says, I only look like a grown-up. And so I really like that. But yeah, that's how our trip went. It ended pretty darn well. And so those are just some of the souvenirs we got. We got a lot of stuff for other people too. But yeah, so that's what my trip was like. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.